This is the Berman Method Podcast featuring Dr. Jake Berman and physician assistant Jenni Berman. We are here to treat problems and not symptoms. Disclaimer, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and not to treat anyone or to give medical advice. If you are interested in any information that we are giving and would like to use this for yourself, we recommend that you contact your primary care physician or reach out to us and ask us questions about yourself specifically. Enjoy.
Holy guacamole, and we're rolling. We're off and rolling, baby, for the Berman Method's 100th episode, where we've been talking about treating problems and not symptoms for over 2 years now.
Wow. I didn't even recognize that 100 episodes would be close to 2 years.
Isn't that crazy?
52 weeks in a year. Yeah, wow. Cool.
Wow.
We've been at this a while.
Yeah, Dr. Jake Berman here with only one co-host today.
Aww. Just Jenni Berman, physician assistant.
Just Jenny.
Yes, little Vera K is no longer podcasting with us. Today, at least. We'll see.
Yep.
100 episodes.
100 episodes. Can you believe that we've still found things to talk about 100 episodes later? You'd think that it would be simple. You know, you're treating problems, not symptoms. How much could you possibly talk about that?
Apparently a lot. And we have a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, we've just barely scratched the surface.
And the following is growing and growing, which we're really excited and grateful about. So thank you for everyone who has subscribed or shared our podcast over the last 100 episodes.
People are actually listening to this?
According to the stats, hopefully the stats are true. But yeah, it's exciting.
People are actually listening to us bicker every week?
And they want video.
They want video?
They want video footage of our podcasting so they can watch my facial expressions.
Oh my goodness. Then we could definitely monetize this thing.
Yeah, we keep talking about it. One day it'll happen. The one day.
Somebody listening has to know somebody that's their job. So if you know that person that specializes in podcasting and video editing and all that stuff, send them our way, because it's just something that I'm not going to do.
Yeah, me neither.
I'll hire somebody to do it. I'm not doing it, though.
Well, it's all about our time.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Right. So cool.
100 episodes. This is fun. I think technically this is 101 or 102. We had that numbering glitch back a year ago, actually right around now. But either way, we're celebrating it now. We're putting the number 100 on this episode. This has been a lot of fun. Very consistent.
Consistency is key.
Yeah.
It's not about being motivated to do it every week.
We were really motivated the first couple of weeks.
We still love doing it, but
I'm not motivated to do this.
Staying consistent does not typically coincide with motivation.
Yeah, that's the big difference, because when we first started this thing, yeah, I'm motivated. Let's get this thing going and just be podcast superstars. And then
it's hard.
6 episodes into it, it's like, man, we got to do it again. What are we going to talk about? All the prep work. We do a lot of prep work and thinking about what are we going to talk about.
It's true. And do you remember back on episode 8 where our editor was like, yeah, those first 5 episodes that you recorded are just horrible. You have to redo them. And we were like, what? We spoke for 30 minutes each episode and we have to redo it? Ugh. But hopefully, if you listen to one of our first ones compared to now, hopefully it's a lot better.
Specifically the audio, not the content, the audio. Because the content was always amazing.
Well, I don't know. I think we were nervous and...
We were?
Yeah. Yeah. So all this to say, it takes practice. It takes perseverance. It takes discipline, consistency. These are like the words that drive our lives, actually.
Yeah, it's not motivation. Motivation doesn't really fit into my life anywhere.
Yeah. Well, and for most people, it doesn't. Nobody's going to be motivated 100% of the time.
It can't be.
So how do you stay moving? How do you stay progressing? Because we're always talking about progressing or regressing. If you're not motivated all the time, how do you continue to progress?
I think it has to do with making a commitment that this is who I am and who we are, and this is what we have committed to do. I mean, it's one of those things where we needed to get, if we take this podcast, for example, we needed to get to a point to where we committed enough into it to where we had people that are actually listening to us.
Right.
Even if it's just my mom. Now my mom is committed and looking forward to listening to our episode air every single Monday morning. So that makes me feel not, I guess obligated is one way to say it, but more determined to stay consistent.
Right.
Because now somebody's counting on me.
Correct. And so I guess if we bring that back into all the things that we talk about with healthy lifestyle and healthy living and treating problems and not symptoms, these words of discipline, determination, perseverance, consistency, that's what drives our lifestyle in general. So with the healthy eating, the getting to the fitness center consistently every week, the taking our supplements every single day, getting our adequate sleep.
As Jenny's smiling because she knows that she's telling a little
that one I'm not so good at, but we've already talked about that's the one area I need to continue to work at. But just in general, our healthy living and the healthy living that we are promoting to all of our clients is all about, those are the words that describe it, not motivation.
Yeah, motivation is really a crappy thing. There's so many people making a ton of money off of motivational things, motivational books, motivational seminars. Tony Robbins is a perfect example where you can go to one of his seminars and leave there thinking that you are going to conquer the world, full of motivation. 24 hours later, man, it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of work. So motivation doesn't do anything without action. And action really doesn't do anything without consistency.
Right.
Because you can work out one time a week. I think I talked about that last episode or the episode before where my buddy works out once a month. Mm-hmm. It's like, what? Why?
Right.
Why do you do that? Why do you want to torture yourself once a month?
Right. That's not the consistency. And there's certainly times you're going to be off. You know, we went on a week-long trip where we didn't have a gym. And so we had to figure out something else that we could do to stay consistent in moving our body. But the most important thing was when we returned home, getting right back at it the first day we were back in, getting back in our routine, back in the gym, back on our clean eating, back to our proteins and vegetables the very next day we were home, because we had the opportunity to, and we need to utilize the opportunity to be able to stay consistent when we just had a week that we were not in our normal routine.
Why do we do it? It's not fun and it's not easy. I mean, it would be so much easier to be inconsistent, lazy, and carefree or careless about what we eat and drink. Why do we do it?
I think everybody has a different answer for that. My answer specifically is longevity, being able to feel the best that I can feel for the longest that I can feel it, to be able to play with my kids and my grandkids, to be able to get on and off the boat until I'm 100 years old. 100.
At least 100, right? By the time we get there, it'll probably be 179.
Might be true.
I love that, though, because how many people do you know that are older that just don't do things as quickly, they're not as agile, or they just don't do it, period, because they're fearful that they're going to fall? I mean, that's what scares the crap out of me. I mean, every time I would see somebody fearful to walk across the yard or getting in and out of a boat, jump, Like, jump. That scares you? Jumping scares you? And then at the same time, I see all these other people, not all these other people, but you see them where they're in their 80s and 90s and they are jumping. They are running. I just saw it last night on one of the commercials for American Ninja Warrior, where there was this 71-year-old lady competing.
Oh, wow.
It's like, are you
That's
freaking
cool.
kidding me?
That's awesome.
She's 71 and she's competing on American Ninja Warrior.
Well, and look at your mom being able to climb the falls, Dunn's River Falls in Jamaica, and she's 70, I don't know, 71, 73, something.
Yeah, something like that. And she's a perfect example because a year ago, she was not in great physical shape. She just had a couple of surgeries that set her back physically. And then she really struggled on the falls last year, a year ago. And she worked her butt off for the past year to get back to where she could go up the falls again. And she said that when we got there. She goes, my goal for this trip, because I asked everybody when we were flying over, what are you most looking forward to in this year's trip? And I was really surprised at what she said. When I asked my mom, she goes, I'm looking forward to climbing the falls a lot better than I did last year. And I'm like, damn.
Right. But
And
she's been working hard this year physically, nutritionally, to make sure that she was ready for it. You know, something else is we keep talking about physical health and being able to run and to jump and to climb on boats, but we couldn't do that without the nutrition aspect of it as well, and preventing autoimmune diseases, preventing inflammatory diseases by monitoring or watching what we're putting into our body.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the most explicit way to kick you right in the ball sack or punch you right in the gut is to say, you can either be a victim and say, well, there's nothing I can do about this because I got this autoimmune disorder, or I got this bad knee, I got a bad back. Or you cannot be a victim and you can say, F this, let's figure it out. There's got to be another way. And I think that that's one of the most rewarding things that I come across through my career. I'm probably, you'd agree with, is all of these people who have been told countless times, you just have to live with this. You have to live with this IBS or Crohn's or whatever autoimmune disease it is. You have to live with this bad knee, or you have to get it cut off and put a new one in there. You have to live with your bad back. And they kept saying, no, I'm not accepting this. And they ultimately find us. And we go through and we start treating the problem, not the actual symptoms. And lo and behold, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, sometimes years later, they're completely different people. And when I say years later, we've got tons of people that have been working with me since day one, still working with me.
Well, and me too. I mean, 7 years I've been working with some of these clients from when I was at the prior practice before I opened my own practice.
And it's like, it's not because we're still trying to fix the same problem. We've found new things to fix. We found new ceilings that we're trying to break through, new floors, because this is one of the greatest things that I coach my staff on, specifically my PTs, is when a new person comes in the door. It's day one. Let's use back pain, for example, in golfing. Their number one goal is to be able to play 18 holes one time a week and not have to pay for it with their back. Right now, currently, they're playing 5 to maybe 9 holes once a week, but then they have to suffer. So they come in, their goal is, I just want to be able to play 18 holes once a week and not have to suffer. And we look at them, and because we've done this so many times, we can guesstimate based off of their physical appearance and abilities, we're definitely going to reach that goal. And it's most likely going to be 3 to 4 times a week. Because once we reach that goal, you, the patient, you're going to be like, oh, wow, I feel really good. I feel like I could do even more now. I would like to play golf twice a week, 18 holes twice a week. Then we reach that outcome. And it's like, well, what the heck? I would like to play a 3-day tournament. Well, why not? Let's work towards it. Then what the heck? why don't we work towards a guy's trip to Scotland where I have to play 7 days straight? Are you freaking kidding me? This was one of our guys from 2 or 3, I guess it was 3 years ago. This is this exact example where he came in, he couldn't play 18 holes without excruciating back pain. And by the end of, what did we do? I think we did somewhere around 35 or 40 sessions with this guy. By the end of that, he played 7 out of 9 days in a row. 7 out of 9 days in a row out in his summer home out in Salt Lake City. No problem at all.
Wow.
So that's one of the most rewarding things is people find that there's another way, start treating the problem and not the symptom. And it just brings a whole new outlook on what's achievable. You're not old anymore. You're actually young. You don't have to settle with this bad back or knee or whatever autoimmune disease it is. We can actually do something about it. We don't have to be a victim.
Right. And I'm sure he came in saying, there's probably nothing you guys can do. Everybody told me I have to live with this. He's not motivated at all, wants it, but not driven. And then once you start going through the process and showing him that there's something that is treatable as far as treating problems and not symptoms, and there is light, then that gives him the idea that he can be disciplined to do what you guys are asking him to do and becoming more consistent with what you're recommending so that he does see the light and can continue to progress.
Exactly. And what you just said right there brings up this amazing example. Motivation. When you're watching these infomercials for the Bowflex or the P90X or the South Beach Diet or Jenny Craig or you name it, the list goes on and on and on. And you see these beautiful, shredded, ripped, nasty actors doing the exercises. You get really, really motivated. Man, all I need to do is buy a Bowflex and I can look like that guy or that lady. And I'll never forget it. This is one of the greatest lessons my dad ever taught me, because when I was growing up, I really wanted to be a combination of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jim Carrey. I wanted to be a bodybuilder, comedian, actor. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a funny bodybuilder actor. And that was what I wanted to be as a kid. So I used to, every time we would go into a convenience store, I would look at those bodybuilding magazines and my dad would buy me one. And then one of the first commercials for Bowflex came out. And at that time, my dad had a makeshift gym outside on his lanai. It's just some dumbbells and a barbell and a couple of things like that. And I said, Dad, we got to get one of these Bowflexes so we can look like this guy. And he goes, son, you know that machine is not going to make you look like that guy. I'm like, what are you talking about? Look at this thing. This guy is shredded. He goes, that guy has been working out his entire life. That guy is an actor and a model, and they hired him because he looks that way.
Right.
He doesn't even use that piece of equipment.
Right.
He is shredded because he's been working out and eating right his whole entire life. I'm like, what? And from that moment on, every time I looked at one of these commercials, I'm going, you son of a guns. I mean, you are really good marketers. And it's borderline lying because you're motivating all these people watching the commercial.
Right.
So you get motivated and you spend a buttload of money for this piece of equipment or the South Beach Diet or whatever it is. But the problem is, as soon as it shows up to your doorstep, you're not motivated anymore. You were really motivated at that moment, but you're not motivated anymore.
Or you're motivated for a week and then you don't see results. So then you're not motivated anymore because you're not seeing the results.
Yeah. So then it sits in the corner collecting dust.
Right. And that's similar to a lot of things, the home delivery meals or the Peloton bike or any of these apps where the treadmill, do you buy a treadmill and you're like, I'm going to use it, or the elliptical, I'm going to use it. But then you don't see the results after a week and you lose the motivation. And that's where we're talking about. It's not about motivation. We have to be consistent. We have to be determined. You have to ask for help too. You have to ask a coach, find a coach that is going to work with you and help guide you on what your body actually needs as far as exercise and nutrition aspect goes.
You do have to ask for help. And I say it consistently on this podcast. At least once a month, I have to have either Jenny or one of my PTs watch me do whatever exercise movement it is and tell me what I need to correct because it's not 100% correct. I'm too subjective to be objective. All of us are. You need to have a coach correcting you or it's not sustainable.
Same with me. I just did my blood work and I treat people every single day on the same exact labs that I ordered on myself. And when my results came back, even with the amount of clean eating that I do and the exercise that I do and the healthy lifestyle, I practice what I preach, and I still had some labs come back. And who did I reach out to? Dr. Cedarquist. And I said, these are my labs. I know how to treat someone else with these labs. What do you think I should do for myself? Because you can't treat yourself. I'm too subjective to be objective about myself. I know what the problem is. I'm not sleeping enough. But bottom line, that's a problem. However, in this season of life, I'm working at it. I'm hiring more people. If you want to work for me, come apply now. But, it's a busy season of life right now. And so I needed the recommendation of how can I handle this in the situation that I'm in. Having a coach, someone to look from the outside in is key. And one more thing I've been thinking about this whole entire podcast is something that Tunde from Peloton says all the time is quit setting goals. Don't set a goal for yourself. Set a standard for yourself. Write the standard down and figure out what it's going to take for you to stay disciplined to that standard.
I love that. As soon as you said that, I said, my standards are I do not eat donuts. It's like, what the F are you thinking? You're taking this piece of sugar, wrapping it in more sugar, and then deep frying it, taking it out of the deep fryer and putting more sugar on top of it. And then you're going to bring it into the conference room and say, hey, I brought breakfast. Everybody enjoy. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
That's just me, though. That's my standard. I don't eat donuts. Maybe once a year, I might have a piece of a donut. And it's just like, why the hell did I eat that? But that's just my standard. It's a standard. It wasn't a goal. I didn't say a goal. One day, I didn't say, I'm never going to eat donuts again. I just said, that is stupid. I'm not doing it anymore. My standards are now I don't eat donuts.
Probably happened when I told you that it takes 72 hours to digest a donut. Do you remember when I told you that?
You did tell me that, but I don't know. I think I was going in that direction to begin with. I mean, speaking of 72 hours to digest things, every time you eat something what's the right word? Gluttonous?
Glutinous?
No,
yeah.
Gluttonous, not gluten.
Oh.
Gluttonous, where it's like, man, I really
enjoyable.
Shouldn't be eating this, but I'm going to do it anyways.
Uh-huh.
Think about whatever that thing is. What would it look like if you left it in the sun for a 98-degree sun for 24 hours? Would you still eat it? Because if the answer is no, that's exactly what it looks like inside of your gut.
Right.
If you have a bowel movement once every 24 hours.
Right.
There's a lot of people listening to this thing that don't even have it every 24 hours. They'll have a bowel movement every 2 or 3 days. So whatever you're eating, think about what it looks like after being in 98 degrees for however long it is between your bowel movements. And that'll motivate you to not put it in your mouth.
And you wonder why you have autoimmune disease or why your immune system is attacking itself. So it's real, serious. So bottom line, happy 100.
100. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for sharing us with your friends and family members that need to hear it from somebody else and not yourself. We love it. Keep sharing it. Subscribe. Keep the subscribers coming. This has been awesome. I can't believe you guys are actually listening to us, but you are.
We appreciate it. And we're going to finish off with, what is your standard and why do you stay consistent, disciplined, and determined?
Yeah, set a standard, not a goal. I love that. Thank you, Toon Day, if you're listening. If you know Toon Day, pass this along.
Send this to her.
Yeah, tag her.
Awesome. Have a happy week. Happy Monday. Ciao for now.
100, baby!
Thank you for subscribing on your social media and podcast platforms to the Berman Method. Dr. Jake Berman with Berman Physical Therapy and Jenni Berman, Physician Assistant with Berman Health and Wellness. You can find more information on our website, www.bermanpt.com for physical therapy, bermanpt.com/wellness for the health and wellness. You can also find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and on your podcast platform. So be sure to follow us, like us, subscribe to us. And if you would like any further information, definitely visit our website and reach out to us. You may also find our free reports on the websites as well, where you can download this free information for yourself. Have a great day.